Hi everyone, on today's video I'm going to show you how to crochet this really cute flap shoulder bag. I do also have a written pattern and I'll leave the link to it in the description down below. So without further ado, let me tell you guys the materials you need to make this bag. To make this project, I'm going to be using 100% acrylic yarn and it's a weight 4 yarn, and I'm going to be using 160 grams of yarn. With that, I'm going to use a 5mm hook. You're also going to need 8 stitch markers. The stitch markers are optional, but it's always better to have them. And you're going to need a darning needle to weave in your ends. I also need to mention that to make this project, we're going to be using 2 strands of yarn at the same time. So what you're going to need to do is make 2 balls of yarn that are 80 grams each to have a total of 160 grams of yarn. So this is pretty much all you need to make this project, so we can now get started with the tutorial. To start, we're going to make a slip knot. To do that, we're going to grab our yarn and roll it on our 2 fingers like this, making an X shape. Then grab your hook and pass it underneath here and grab the yarn over here. Turn your fingers and take them off and pull. And then you can pull again to adjust it to your hook. We're now going to chain 47. To chain, you have to yarn over your hook and pull through. This is 1 chain. The loop on your hook does not count as a chain. Yarn over, pull through, that's 2. Yarn over, pull through, that's 3. Yarn over, pull through 4, so on and so forth until you have a total of 47 chains. Alright, so here I have my 47 chains. The length of my foundation chain is about 12.5 inches. So if you do not have the same length as me, you can always chain more or less, but just make sure that the amount you chain is an odd number, because if you chain an even number, it's not going to work out. What we're going to do now is work in the back bars of the chains. So this is the front of your chain. If you turn it around, you're going to see that there are little bumps, and we're going to crochet in those. So what we're going to do is skip the first back bar and insert our hook in the second one. So insert your hook in the second back bar like this. Then we're going to make a single crochet. So yarn over and pull through. You have 2 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2 again. So here we have our single crochet. We're now going to go over the next back bar and make a double crochet. To make a double crochet, you have to yarn over your hook, insert your hook in the next back bar, yarn over and pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And now we're going to repeat this pattern all across our foundation chain. So we're going to go over the next back bar and insert our hook. Then we're going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 to make a single crochet. And now we're going to go over to the next back bar and make a double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook in the next back bar, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Next back bar, single crochet, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Next back bar, double crochet, yarn over, insert your hook in the next back bar, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Alright, so continue making this little pattern all across, and I'll see you guys when I reach the end of my chains. Okay, so here I'm done with my first row. At the end of row 1, you should have a total of 46 stitches. Alright, so to start row 2, you just have to turn your work. And on row 2, we're going to repeat the same exact thing. And for this project, we're also never going to chain 1. So we can directly insert our hook in the first stitch of the row, insert your hook, and make a single crochet. So yarn over, pull through, and pull through 2 to make a single crochet. Now that we're done with our single crochet, we're going to move over to our next stitch and make a double crochet. So yarn over, insert your hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. And now we're going to repeat this little pattern all across the row. So we're going to go over to the next stitch, insert our hook, make a single crochet, and we're going to follow that with a double crochet. So we're going to yarn over, insert our hook in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, pull through 2. Next stitch, single crochet. Now that we're done with the single crochet, we're going to follow that with a double crochet. So you can go ahead and repeat this little pattern all across, and I'll see you guys when I reach the end. Alright, so here I'm done with my second row. Once again, whenever you finish a row, you're supposed to have 46 stitches. Alright, so once your second row is done, we're going to once again turn our work. And we're going to repeat again the same thing. So we're going to insert our hook in the first stitch of the row and make a single crochet. And then we're going to go on to the next stitch and make a double crochet. And we're going to repeat that all across. So next stitch, single crochet, next stitch, double crochet. Alright, so repeat this all across and I'll see you guys then. Alright, so here I'm done with my third row. I forgot to mention it earlier on, but this is called the lemon peel stitch. So to start row 4, we have to again turn our work. And we're going to restart making the same thing again. So in the first stitch, we're going to make a single crochet, and in the stitch right after, we're going to make a double crochet. So we're going to continue making the lemon peel stitch over and over again until we have a total of 24 rows. We've already made 3 rows, so that means we have 21 more rows to crochet. Alright, so go ahead and make all of your rows and come back to the video. Here I'm done crocheting my 24 rows, and if you're curious, it measures about 8 inches and a half. So you can always make more rows if yours is smaller. Alright, so once you're done with all of your rows, the next thing we're going to do is just turn our work a little bit like this, and we're going to make single crochets all across here to make the edge a little cleaner and a little straighter. Alright, so we're going to insert our hook where we see little holes. So as you guys can see, there's a little hole here if I stretch my work a little bit. So I'm going to insert my hook in that hole and make a single crochet. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we're going to stretch again our work. We're going to find the next hole and insert our hook in it and make a single crochet. Then there's a hole here, a little tight, but let's insert our hook in it and make a single crochet. Next hole here, single crochet. And we're going to repeat that all across until we reach our next corner. Alright, so here I'm done making single crochets all across. What we're going to do when we're done doing that is pull a little bit of yarn, and then we're going to cut it. Then we're going to take a darning needle and pass the 2 tails here inside of the darning needle. What we're going to do now is insert our needle in the closest loop, which is right in here for me. So I'm going to pass my needle through there, like this. And then to finish this off, we're going to pass our needle in the back loop of the last single crochet we've done. So this is my last single crochet. I'm going to take my needle and pass it in the back loop of my last single crochet, like this. Then you can go on the other side, make a little knot, and weave in your ends. So go ahead and do that and come back to the video. Alright, so here we're done making all of our single crochets here, and we've woven in all of our ends. The next step is going to be to place some stitch markers. So what we're going to do is take our panel and turn it around like this. And now we're going to place stitch markers starting from the bottom over here. So where you put your single crochets is the top of your work, and so we're going to go down and place our stitch markers on the bottom. So take a stitch marker and place it in the first stitch on the bottom here. Then what we're going to do is count 15 stitches, this one included. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 and 15 here, like this. We're going to take a stitch marker and place another one in the 16th stitch. And we're also going to place a stitch marker in the 30th stitch. So from the last stitch marker you've placed, count 15. So this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 and 15 here, and place your stitch marker there. So there's a stitch marker in the first stitch, in the 15th stitch, in the 16th stitch, and in the 30th stitch. So now go ahead and do the same thing on the other side over here. Once you're done threading all of your stitch markers, you can fold this in half and take these corners and place them next to the 30th stitch, like this. So, and now we're going to start joining and making the strap, and we're going to start in this corner over here. So we're just going to turn our work like this a little bit and start joining here. So take your hook and your 2 strands of yarn and make a slip knot. Then we're going to go over to our corner over here, and we're going to insert our hook through the 2 stitches where our stitch markers are. So I'm going to insert my hook through this stitch over here. I'm going to remove my stitch marker. And I'm also going to insert my hook through the next stitch where the second stitch marker is. So I'm just going to take it off right now and insert my hook in the other stitch. It can be a little tricky, but once you have it, it's done. So once your hook is inside the 2 stitches, we're going to make a single crochet. So yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. We're going to insert our hook in the next stitch and in the next stitch on the other side, like this. We're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. And we're going to make single crochets until we reach our next stitch markers. So again, next stitch, and insert your hook in the stitch right across like this and make a single crochet. Alright, so go ahead and continue, and I'll see you guys when I reach the end. Alright, so here I have one last single crochet to make, so I'm going to remove my stitch markers from my stitches. Alright, so here I'm done with my single crochets. So once you've reached the corner here and made your last single crochet, you're supposed to have a total of 15 single crochets here all across. So once you're done doing that, we're going to start chaining to make the strap. For the strap, we're going to chain 65, which is going to be equal to about 16 inches. So what I do is I just yarn over and pull through. So this is one chain, and I just keep on chaining like this until I have 65 chains. Or you can do this until your chains measure about 16 inches. So go ahead and do that and come back to the video. Alright, so here I'm done crocheting my 65 chains. What we're going to do now is turn our work a little bit like this, and we're going to start joining this side over here. So take your hook, insert your hook in this stitch over here where the stitch marker is. You can remove the stitch marker and insert your hook in the other stitch on the other side where the stitch marker is, like this, and remove your stitch marker and make a single crochet like this. And now we're basically just going to repeat what we've done on the other side, which is to make single crochets all across, and you're supposed to make 15 single crochets. So again, you just have to insert your hook in the next stitch and insert your hook on the stitch on the other side and make your single crochet. So you can go ahead and do this all across, and I'll see you guys when I reach the end. So here I've made 14 single crochets. I have one last single crochet to make, and the ones on the corners are always a little harder because they're so close together. So here's one and the other stitch like this. And here's my 15th single crochet. What we can do now is just fold this like this, just so it's out of the way a little bit, and we're now going to turn our work. So turn your work like this. Alright, so on this second row, what we're going to do is make back loop single crochets all across. So we're going to insert our hook in the back loop of the first stitch, which is right in here. So this is the back loop. We're going to insert our hook in that back loop, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 to make a single crochet. We're going to go over to the next back loop, insert our hook and make our single crochet. Next back loop, insert your hook, single crochet, and you're going to do this all across. So continue doing this all across here, and I'll see you guys when I reach my chains over here. Alright, so here I'm done making 15 back loop single crochets, and now I have reached my chain. So what we're going to do is simply crochet in the back loop of the chain like this. So I'm just going to insert my hook in the chain like this and make my single crochet. Then I'm going to go over to the next chain, insert my hook like this, So insert my hook, make a single crochet. So go ahead and make single crochets all across your chains. Alright, so here I'm done making single crochets all across the chains. So now we're just going to restart making single crochets in the back loop, and we have 15 single crochets left to make. So again, just insert your hook in the back loop like this. So insert your hook in the back loop, single crochet, next back loop, insert your hook, single crochet, and do that all across until you reach the next corner. Alright, so here I'm done making single crochets all across. So now what we're gonna do is turn our work. On row 3 of the strap, we're going to make single crochets all across. So we're going to insert our hook in the first stitch, just like this. And we're going to make a regular single crochet. So yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2. We're going to go over to the next stitch, insert our hook through this stitch, and make a single crochet. Next stitch, insert your hook, single crochet. And you're going to do that all across until you reach this next corner over here. So even when you reach the strap, you're going to be making regular single crochets. Alright, so here I'm done making single crochets all across. Now we're going to once again turn our work. And we're going to make one last row of single crochets all across. So we're once again going to insert our hook in the first stitch of the row and make a single crochet. Go on to the next stitch, insert our hook, and make a single crochet. And we're going to repeat that all across until we reach our next corner over here. Alright, so here I'm done making single crochets all across. Now we're going to turn our work again. And now on this 5th row, we're going to make slip stitches. So what we're going to do for this row is insert our hook in the front loop of the stitch. And if you tilt your work a little bit, you're going to see that there's little loops over here. So we're also going to insert our hook in those little loops and then make our slip stitch. So we're first going to insert our hook here in the front loop. So insert your hook in the front loop of the first stitch like this. Then we're going to tilt our work a little bit and go ahead and insert our hook in the loop right below it over here. So insert your hook through that loop. You're then going to yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. So yarn over, pull through, and pull through again to make a slip stitch. And we're going to do that all across. So here I'm going to insert my hook in the front loop of this stitch. I'm going to tilt my work a little bit and insert my hook in the loop right below. Over here, like this. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all the loops on my hook to make a slip stitch. Again, front loop. I'm going to tilt my work a little bit and insert my hook in the loop right below, like this. Yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. Again, front loop, loop right below, yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook. So you're going to go ahead and repeat that all across. So go ahead and do that, and I'll see you guys then. Alright, so here I'm done slip stitching all across. So once you're done doing all of your slip stitches, you can pull some yarn, and then you can cut it, and then you can weave in the ends. Once all of your ends are woven in, that means you're officially done with your bag. The only thing you can add now is some magnetic buttons if you want. So you can put your magnetic buttons like this on the 2 corners over here. This is optional, but I feel like it's better to do it than not. But again, it's really up to you. Alright, so I really hope you enjoyed crocheting this bag. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more crochet tutorials. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.